Let's talk about storing and managing your photos. The big thing is the cloud. What exactly is the cloud? If you are an iPhone user, chances are your photos are stored in your iCloud account. If you are an Android user, chances are your photos are stored in your Google Photos account. Both of those are cloud-based accounts. What exactly is the cloud? The cloud is just another term for the internet. Cloud computing refers to applications and services offered over the internet. These services are offered from secure data centers all over the world, which collectively are referred to as the cloud. So there are these massive data centers that just consist of computers, refrigerator-sized computers that store your stuff, my stuff, your friend's stuff, websites, and so on. Cloud storage is mainly used for personal storage of photographs, of files that you might have, but also websites are in the cloud. So Amazon's, if you've ever bought anything through Amazon, all the data that makes up the Amazon website, all the things that you can shop for, all that data that makes up that website has to be stored somewhere, and it's stored in a massive data center. What exactly is a data center? Some people call it a data center, some people call it a server farm. A data center is a large group of networked computer servers typically used by organizations for remote storage, processing, and distribution of large amounts of data. So this is the inside of a data center. It's just a massive warehouse, and inside are rows and rows and rows and rows and rows and rows of computers. If you have a Gmail account, if you have a Yahoo account, if you have an AOL email account, your email lives on one of these servers somewhere in the world. If you have an iPhone and you take photographs, and your photographs are stored in your iCloud, it means that your photos are not stored physically on your phone. They are stored in a data center somewhere in the world. It might be row 108, column 57, and your information might live on a tiny chip somewhere on one of these computers. And these data centers or server farms are backed up at multiple locations. The reason for that is for security and redundancy. So let's pretend that this is an Apple data center, okay? If this was the only Apple data center in the world and it was flooded or a plane crashed into it or terrorist attack, all of your photos would be gone. All of your stuff that has to do with Apple would be gone. So these data centers are backed up at more than 8.6 million. Yeah, actually that number has changed. It's actually 8.6 million data centers worldwide. I've got a video next. It's about 5 minutes long, and it's an excellent video that talks about the cloud and specifically talks about iCloud and talks about storage of your information, your email, your photos, your contacts, all that stuff that is stored in data centers. So let me play that video for you now.
My head's been in the cloud. Bet you've been there too. But where is this cloud, that enigmatic entity storing our data on the internet? David Pogue of Yahoo Finance knows and tells all in our Sunday morning cover story.
These days, you can't walk through an airport, read a magazine, or open a computer without seeing ads for the cloud.
The cloud, where everyone can access everything they save from anywhere they are.
The ads clearly suggest that the cloud is desirable, but what they don't say is what the cloud is. Well, here's the basic idea. In the beginning, we all kept our own stuff on our own computers. In the new world of the cloud, though, your computer files don't have to be on your computer. They can be stored out on the internet, alongside everyone else's, in huge centralized buildings called data centers. Your computer or phone can then fetch your files on the spot, wherever you happen to be. Now, you may have encountered the cloud as a synchronizing service. For example, Apple's iCloud service. If I edit this photo on my Apple laptop, maybe make it black and white, maybe crop in on it, a couple of seconds later, I'll see the exact same changes show up on that photo on my Apple phone. Now, these two devices are not directly connected. Instead, that data made an intermediate hop. In a fraction of a second, it comes here to a massive data center, and then it returned to the phone. Most of the time, though, you use the cloud without knowing it, because most of those cloud data centers exist to serve companies.
So it could be retail, it could be real estate, healthcare, life sciences, oil and gas, everything from small initial startups right through to the very, very largest enterprises.
Matt Wood is a general manager at Amazon Web Services, or AWS. It's by far the biggest cloud service company in the world, bigger than its next 14 competitors combined. So all of these industries, all of these companies are hiring AWS to do what?
Let's say you're a brewery. They want to brew beer. They don't want to manage computers. They want to brew beer. They don't want to be going through the expense and the upfront cost and all the complexity of managing these large amounts of computers.
What you're saying is that cloud companies like AWS are basically renting computers, storage, power, security, all the stuff that technicians would have normally had to do on site, right?
That's right, yeah. And so today, very large organizations such as GE, Shell, Philips, Netflix, all run on top of AWS.
If you'd like to see what the cloud looks like, all you have to do is visit a data center, like this one belonging to Raging Wire in Virginia. But good luck getting in.
This is a retinal scanner, and this one's kind of interesting because this one's smart enough to know whether my eyeball is alive or not. So that means you can't take another eyeball and hold it up to here.
Well, darn, because I was sort of hoping to kill you and sneak in.
It's not going to work here.
Fortunately, marketing director Jim Leach agreed to give me a tour.
Oh, this is called a man trap.
Man trap.
And the secret here is that one door has to close and lock before the other door can open.
Once you get past the concrete barriers, the armed guards, the retina scanner, the man trap, and 9 password-protected doors, you find out what's inside a data center. Just racks and racks and racks of powerful computers. This is the internet.
This is the internet, this is the cloud. Basically, in this room, ballpark, there's about 3 million websites running right now.
For security reasons, they'll never tell you whose websites. But every site and app you've ever heard of, Facebook, Twitter, Netflix, Uber, Airbnb, the New York Times, even CBS News, lives in data center cages like this one. All right, I gotta ask, what happens in a power failure?
It's backed up by batteries that can run the entire facility for about 10 minutes while we turn on these massive generators that can run continuously.
This data center is in Loudoun County, Virginia, which turns out not to be much of a surprise.
70% of all web traffic on a daily basis from the world goes through a Loudoun County data center.
Come on!
70%.
Buddy Reiser is the county's head of business development. He's helped turn Loudoun County into the largest concentration of data centers in the world, 10 million square feet in 70 enormous buildings.
What do the data centers need and how do we provide it? And it comes down to power and water and fiber and workforce and proximity. And I think the other thing you need is plenty of green space to build, because these are really big buildings, as you can see.
But hold on a second. If we're concentrating all of our data into data centers and concentrating most of the data centers into one county, doesn't that make a very tempting target for terrorists? Amazon's Matt Wood isn't worried.
If something does happen, or we have a power event, or there's a flood in one specific location, that data is held redundantly in other locations as well. So
I don't mean to give anyone ideas, but let's say I figured out that one of these unmarked buildings was an AWS data center, and I blew it up. Are you saying that it's so backed up and redundant that probably you wouldn't notice?
yeah, you wouldn't notice. I mean, we might be a bit upset, but we wouldn't notice.
Okay, so the cloud offers speed, security, flexibility, and savings to the world's businesses. But that doesn't mean it's flawless.
A really obvious example is that the cloud uses a massive amount of power.
Tung-Wei Hu is a University of Michigan professor and author of A Prehistory of the Cloud.
Greenpeace calculated that if you added up all these data centers, they would be the 5th most power-hungry country in the world. They're idle 96% of the time, and the reason is because they're waiting for that.
What are?
Data centers are just computers sitting around doing nothing for 96% of the time. And that's because they're waiting for a spike in traffic. They're waiting for the next music video to go viral. It's those exceptional moments which they have to build the capacity for it. But most of the time, nothing really happens on the internet besides a lot of cat videos.
And then there's all the secrecy.
We don't know anything about what Amazon or Google really does with their data. We have to take their word for it. In fact, if anything, we sign away half of our rights to these data because the cloud is this strange way of letting the companies decide what happens to the data that you have.
But even Professor Hu admits that the cloud is here to stay. Amazon's AWS is on track to make $16 billion this year, dwarfing the part of Amazon that most people know, the part that sells books and things. AWS is growing at 40% a year, and Loudoun County can't build data centers fast enough. Buddy Reiser says there are 7 new ones under construction right now.
And how long will it take them to build that?
Probably under 2 years.
Are you saying that this kind of construction is being built to anticipate the demand a couple years from now, or is there already enough demand to fill this?
This is 100% leased already. I mean, it's not getting ahead. We're just barely keeping up. There's no empty space in our data centers. By and large, they're all 100% filled.
Okay, so when we talk about iCloud or Google Photos, this is what we're talking about. If you use iCloud to back up your phone, to back up your contacts, to back up your calendar, to back up your photos, all that stuff is stored in a data center somewhere in the world. So all these companies, every company that you can think of, that their information, their data that they collect lives in a data center somewhere. So let's talk a little bit about iCloud and Google Photos. So the iCloud is not an app. It is a built-in feature within your phone. So when I take a photograph, so let's go back to my photos here, and I'll take a selfie. So I'm going to tap this little button down here, and we'll take a selfie. That photo is not stored on my phone. It is stored in a data center somewhere in the world. My phone really becomes more of a vehicle to get me to that data center. So when I go to my Photos app and I open up my Photos app and I check out this photo is not on my phone. It's visible on my phone, but the file does not live on my phone. So how do you know if you're using iCloud or not? You will go into your Settings app, give that a tap, and at the very top of your Settings app, it has your name. When you tap on your name, there's a button here that says iCloud. I tap on iCloud, and then this basically, this graph shows you what is being currently stored in your iCloud account. So you can see I've got 50 gigabytes of storage. So I've got a certain amount of storage that I pay for with the iCloud. So I have 50 gigabytes. I'm using about half of it right now, and most of it is taken up by photographs. If I want to see if my photographs are being backed up, I tap on Photos, and then it says right here, iCloud Photos, and I have it turned on because it's green. And it says right here, automatically upload and safely store all your photos and videos in iCloud so you can browse, search, and share from any of your devices. So with that green button turned on, that tells me that all my photos are backed up into my iCloud account. What's also backed up are anything that I've got checked here, all my contacts, my calendar, my text messages, anything that's in green, the data that's collected in that app is backed up to my iCloud account. What's the benefit of that? The benefit is security. Because if I lose my phone, or I damage it, or someone steals it, or I break it, I haven't lost any of my photos. I haven't lost any of my contacts because all that data is stored in my iCloud account. If I need to buy more storage, so when you have an iPhone, Apple gives you 5 gigabytes of storage to start with for free. Once you use up that 5 gigabytes, you either have to start deleting photos and videos, or you have to buy more space. So let's pretend that I'm running out of space. Let's say I've got 40, I'm using 49 of 50 gigabytes. First of all, if I'm running short on space, there will be a message on my phone from Apple saying, hey, you're running close out of storage space. So if I want to buy more space, I tap on Manage Storage. I tap on Change Storage Plan. And this is what I'm paying. I'm paying 99 cents a month for 50 gigabytes. If I start to run out, I can do one of two things. I can just delete photos that I know I don't want, and that will free up space in my cloud, or I can buy more storage space. So it goes from 99 cents a month for 50 gigabytes to $2.99 a month for 200 gigabytes. Those are your choices. Let's talk a little bit about Google Photos. So I have an iPhone. With an iPhone, my photos back up to my iCloud account. But I don't have to use iCloud if I don't want to, or if I'm on an Android phone. If I'm on an Android phone, I'm going to be using Google Photos to back up my photos. And when I tap on Google Photos, it's going to show you the same thing. It's going to show you the photos. There's the photo that I just took. So all these photos are being stored in my Google Photos account. So every photo I've ever taken on my phone is being stored up here. Why do I have it stored in two places? Really for demonstration purposes. I have Google Photos, but with Google Photos, I don't have to pay for it. Google Photos will store all your photos for free. That being said, if you want them to store all your photos for free, they don't save the original quality of the photo that you take. So if you take a high resolution photo, what it does is it it diminishes the resolution a little bit so that it can fit more photos into your account. So part of the thing with Google Photos is if you want to use Google Photos and you want to use unlimited storage, they will save a slightly lesser quality version of your photo. How less, I really don't know. So that is just a separate app that I downloaded onto my iPhone. If you're an Android user, Google Photos is already built in to your phone.